Hello family, I'm Robin, I'm a real alcoholic.
Hey, Robin.
I want to welcome everyone, especially people around the world, because it's increasing and I'm real grateful and humble for that, to the Land Step of Society book study. Change your thinking, change your life. Let's open with a moment of silence, followed by the serenity prayer. Serenity prayer. God, grant me serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This week we're going to be studying the chapter Into Action. Last week we talked about the fifth step. You know, you have to have a fourth step inventory in order to do the fifth step. Alright, and the rest of the steps. So what, briefly, quick review is that you have to admit to God, yourself, and another human being the exact nature of your defects. So basically what you do is you get with your sponsor or someone that you would like to hear your confession. It's really a confession. And men and women have been doing confession on earth since the beginning of men and women. We have always done confessions. So that's what a fifth step is a confession. But you have column 4 of the fourth step, and that's what you use to do your confession. Alright, so it's really a pleasant, pleasing step. Because the more of this stuff you can get out of you, the more you recognize, the more you're able to tell someone about your life, the more rewarding or more at peace you will become. Alright? It's a very important step, because if you go to the 12 of 12 or you go elsewhere, this is the step where you really get a connection with a power that's greater than yourself. Alright? So what I want to do is start on page 75. Tonight we're going to take a look at the 6th step, the 7th step, and the 8th step. All 3 steps. The 6th step in the AA book is 1 paragraph. The 7th step in the AA book is 1 paragraph. So 6 and 7 go together, and 8 and 9 go together. They're like pairs. That makes sense? So we're going to look at 6 and 7. I'm going to show you how to do an 8-step list. Then we're going to come back next week and look at step 8 and 9. The 9th step is a long one. It's like maybe 8, 9 pages. If I'm not, just going off the top of my head, I didn't sit and count it. But what it does is it explains basically every type of men we're going to make. Financial men, personal men, family amends. It goes through different scenarios of amends. So what we're doing now is we become willing and ready to make these amends. Alright? So I want to start on page 75, and we read this last week, but I want to go back over it. It says, we pocket our pride and go to it. Now this is still a part of the 5th step. Alright? So we're just going to do a review on that, and then we're going to ease our way into the 6th step, the 7th step, then we're going to learn how to do an 8-step list. Y'all ready? Alright, Steve.
We pocket our pride and go to it, illuminating every twist of character, every dark cranny of the past. Once we have taken this step, withholding nothing, we are delighted. We can look at the world in the eye. We can be alone in perfect peace and ease. Our fears fall from us. We begin to feel the nearness of our Creator. We may have had certain spiritual beliefs, but now we begin to have a spiritual experience. The feeling that the drink problem has disappeared will often become stronger. We feel we are on the broad highway, walking hand in hand with the Spirit of the universe.
Alright, we pocket our pride and go to it. So they're saying we got to become humble. We're not going to be puffed up. We're not going to be full of ego. We're going to get in here and tell the truth. Alright? Eliminating every twist of character. We must tell this other person and God everything about us. Everything that's in our fourth step, or even things that we didn't put in the fourth step that had come up, because more will be revealed. You want to be able to tell it right now. Let's get it off my chest. It's the time and the place to do this in the fifth step. Alright? Every dark cranny of the past. Once we do this, remember I told you there's rewards or promises for doing everything. In recovery, every time you do some work, you get a promise. The same as using. Every time you use, you get a promise. Any way you look at it, you're going to get rewarded. Alright? So it says that once we have taken this step, finished the fifth step, withholding nothing, we are delighted. Alright, let's break that down. Once we take this step, we're doing this step with our sponsor, and I use the word sponsor openly as a suggestion. Alright? Withholding nothing, I'm going to tell that my sponsor everything that I have written on my fourth step. Right? Where I was selfish, dishonest, fearful, and inconsiderate. Them sheets. I'm going to just go over it. Alright? We are delighted. Delighted means greatly pleased. Greatly pleased. Once I'm greatly pleased, now you got to remember now, we're talking about an alcoholic and addict who used for 25 years. In my using years, I probably could never even pronounce delighted. That wasn't a part of my emotions. That makes sense? I wouldn't even know how to say that word. It would have never came into my being as being delighted about anything. Alright? We can look the world in the eye. We don't have to hold our heads down no more like we did when we were homeless. Walk around full of shame and guilt and embarrassment. We don't have to do that. We can go to the family reunion and hold our head up this year. Last year we held our heads down. Alright? We can be alone at perfect peace and ease. That's important. I tell people all the time, we have 2 recovery homes in the Atlanta Step-Up Society, and a few guys, like 6 guys in one and 4 in another. That's how we had it set up. And people come into our program, and I usually try to tell them now, what I see more people leaving the program for is because once they get to one of the homes and they settle down, they do not know how to be at peace with themselves. They don't know how to sit in the house and have a dinner, open a book, and relax. Turn the TV on and just chill. They don't know how to do that. They are always restless, irritable, and discontented. There's no peace in their system. You go to the house, people are sitting down, chilling, relaxing. They got to pace up and down the street, going in and out the door. For what? You're supposed to be at home. They cannot accept peace. And I understand that. Because in our organization, let's say a person lived in a house with only 6 guys. Now I need some. I know Ken here, so I ain't gotta really ask too much. I need some help with some math. If you got 6 guys in a house, I'm just gonna use the average number of 25. I'm not gonna make it 20. 6 guys with 20 years each insanity using time How many years is that?
150.
100? We're going to use 20.
You said 25 or 20?
We're going to give it 20.
120.
120 years of insanity in that house. Now if you take, we ain't coming yet. Wait on, we're going to eat over we. You got 120 years in our house, in the step-up house. And you put all that clean time together, you might come up with 2 years. So you got 118 years of insanity in that house. So the scale is like this. The little 2 years, whoop, gone. Now that's okay. That's not bad. Let's use one of these big organizations. I'm not going to call no name. But I know one here that got 150 men in it. Now we're going to do some math. 150 times 20 years of insanity. What's the number? How much? 2,400 years of insanity. Listen to this, mathematically. You got 150 people, and the average person done did 20 years. Am I right or wrong?
Right, that's right.
You multiply 150 times 20, you get 2,400?
No, 120 you said.
No. 3,000 years. 3,000 years. Each person gets 20 years, but it's 150 of them. So 3,000 years. Now my house didn't have but 120 years of insanity. Some of these big organizations got 3,000 years of using time in there. Okay? If you take all 150 of them and squish them together and get clean time, I'm going to give them 10 years. And that's pushing it. I should say 5. 5 might be more at home, right? More active. So we give them 5 years. It's 2,995 years of insanity in there. Now what the scale is, no scale. We talking about bulldozers. So my point is, you get someone from that organization and bring him into our organization, quite naturally, he's going to be restless, irritable, and discontent. That make sense? So, the step work is important because we're trying to find peace. It says, peace and at ease. Not disease, ease. That's what the 12 steps bring about. So if you're in an organization and you're working on the 12 steps, on the inside, you can find peace and ease. You look around, see all that going on, that peace and ease might tell you, time to go. And time to grow. Our fears fall from us. So when you're doing the 5th step, you get peace and ease, and now your fears start to fall from you. You're not so scary no more. Right? And most of our fears is in our mind. We're going to talk about this. If, as a small businessman, in my mind, because I've been doing this a long time, needs some sort of spiritual balance in his life in today's times. And if you work for somebody, you need some spirituality too. Because you've been at a job and look around, it used to be 25, now it's 15, then 10, time to start praying. Because it's going to be 5 and 1. So my point is that you start I don't know, I'm losing fear, but I'm replacing fear with faith. My prayers become more real. That makes sense? And I have to trust God more than ever. If I look out and I don't have nobody's payroll, do I go in fear? What is fear going to bring me? More fear. Or do I go in faith and trust in the process trust in my spirituality, trust in my wonderful, beautiful imagination, which is the home of God for me. Assume the feeling and occupy the space that all my bills is paid, stay there, and it come to fruition. Or I can operate in insanity and be in fear. As a small businessman, you learn that real fast. It's easier to trust in God than to trust in fear. Because if I trust in fear, I just quit. I wouldn't even come to work. Just keep on going. We begin to feel the nearness of our Creator. When you start doing the spiritual work, you start to see God perform in your life. You start to see the miracles. Really, the miracles was always there. It was just me blocking the miracles. It ain't nothing new under the sun. This is not new stuff. God is in each and every last one of us. In our mind. We may have had certain spiritual beliefs, but now we began to have a spiritual experience. Once we start doing this work, we start to experience spirituality. Does that make sense? We try a little bit over here and it works. We try a little bit over there and it works. We make a decision early that morning that no matter what, I'm not going to allow my mind to be judgmental today. And I practice it. And when I hear myself getting ready to talk about somebody, I shut it off. I let it go away. I do that enough, I start getting experience in that area. That makes sense? If I know a person is negative or got some drama going on, I don't want to be in drama today. I don't answer my phone. I told you I got the code, DNA, do not answer. I programmed it that morning. I see it pop up, but it gave me a mental warning not to answer, because I don't have to take on other people's drama. You do that once or twice, and you get experience in allowing people to go. Then they don't answer, you don't answer the phone, next time you see them, they might say something smart. I figured it out myself. Something like that. I'm glad you did. That's why it was DNA. Because I was going to allow you to figure it out for yourself. I don't have to be the controller. I don't have to be the one to fix everybody else's problems today. That makes sense? I don't have to do that. So what my point is, as we start to do these step work, as we start to enter into a spirituality, start to get spiritual experiences, we just can grow and grow and grow. Now, I can honestly tell you about spiritual beliefs. I always believe in religion and spiritual stuff, but I can honestly tell you about me, I did nothing to get any experience in it. I just had a head full of belief. I did nothing. They say tired, I wasn't tired. I'll give you what I think you should have. I wasn't going to do that. All the stuff that I believed in, I wasn't actually doing. But once I got beaten into submission, came in here, spirituality became kind of easy. Alright? So you get experience in this stuff. The feeling that the drink problem has disappeared will often come strongly. By now, you're not obsessing with no alcohol and drugs. I'm not waking up in the morning thinking about my next hit or where I put the bottle the night before. I don't even have drinking thoughts in my mind no more. I think the last time I had any drinking thoughts must have been about 7. My daughter been married about 7 years now. So I remember, just me, about 7 years ago, I remember, because she got married in like June or July, and in May. And It was hot, it was nice, I took off work, it was the day before the wedding, all the family were coming from all over the place. We had this big wedding planned for her. Everything was beautiful. I never forget, I was driving the car, and a thought came to my mind. It said, it sure would be nice to have a cold beer. Now I knew that was an obsession, because I teach this all the time. I said, obsession, you go have a cold beer. But I'm going to tend to my affairs with my daughter. See, I knew how to talk to it. I think the time before that was maybe 10 years ago. So my using thinking been years apart. That makes sense. I was driving down the boulevard with my wife, and they had a new malt liquor beer that came out. It's a malt liquor, and that was my thing. Split malt liquor, the bull, you know, Old English 800, malt liquor with me. And I looked up there and I saw that billboard, and I told my wife, if I was a drinker, I had 10 years playing, that would be me. She's gone, passed right on by the side. I'll never forget this. 3 days later, I was at home. She was there, and I was saying, you remember that sign that was up on the boulevard? She talking about, what sign? What are you talking about? She had completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
I realized 3 days later, it was still on me. I was still remember that sign. And I said, this got to stop. It had got in my mind, you know what I'm saying? I had clinged to it and started building. You know, you put the building blocks up like Legos. They were there. I let that little thought get into my psyche and start putting building blocks on it. But 3 days later, I had remembered it, and she had forgotten. That's how I knew that it never cared. All right. Here's my best part. We feel we are on the broad highway, walking hand in hand with the spirit of the universe. Once we start doing this work, and you start seeing God perform miracles in your life, whether it's, no miracle has size. There's no big ones and no small ones. It's just blessings. And you start seeing them come into your life. You start seeing that. You know, I had one happen today. I was on my way to work today. Listen to this, y'all. I was on my way to work. I could write a book on spiritual experiences and awakenings. I could write a book on this. Because I done had thousands of them. Thousands of what other people might call coincidence. I don't use the word coincidence. Because a coincidence ain't getting me no better. But a spiritual awakening will. A spiritual experience will just feel better. Coincidence don't feel like nothing. So, I was on my way to work today, and I said to myself, well, you know, we had a really very, very financially good week. The driveway been blocked up, the construction going on, the parking. We done had more rain than we ever seen in the last 2 weeks. So, financially, you know, you got a business. Now, it's not just our business, but it's businesses everywhere around here that's getting affected. It's not just me. I ain't that stupid to think it's me. But I said today, I got to pay everybody and I got to pay bills, so I'm going to let go and let God. This is true. On my little Course in Miracle thing, it says, this is what it says. It says, today it says, we're going to watch God work. Then it had a little paragraph. Today just watch God work. So that's telling me, for me not to do nothing, I got to observe God work. I get to work today. I put all the finances to the back burner, because I ain't going to walk in fear, because God's not in fear. I said I'm going to watch God work. I get to work today. I don't know, maybe an hour in work, or not even that. Before I got to work, a guy pulls up in the driveway. He says he has some chairs. He can't get them, can we get them? He said it's 200 of them. I come to work, I get the address, I talk to him, everything. I send the trucks over there to get the chair. But I'm thinking, ding, 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 ding. You know? So I go get the chair. When I get there, the man says, you got any idea how many chairs you picking up today? And these are council chairs. They're very expensive. Each chair is worth $1,000. Now, we can't sell them in here for $1,000, but you sure can push them. So, the man said, you got any idea how many chairs you going to pick up today? I said, yeah, 200. He said, nah, buddy, I got 1,000. So we rotate, now we got 1,000 chairs. I said, watch God work. Do that. I get a call this afternoon. Now my guys upstairs, they are real good about hush mouth, but they don't never let this leak out. I get a call today. On top of that, a company that I've been doing business with asked me, got needing money, we're gonna give you $12,000. Now, do I want to play in fear, or do I want to watch God work? So my point is, this is a humbling experience for me. It's an opportunity for me to tell y'all this stuff really works. I'm not boasting, I'm not bragging. I didn't give myself no 1,000 chairs. I didn't lend myself no $12,000. God, this program works. Alright? And this is not me. Everybody in here can share experiences like that. I'm just giving you where I was today. That makes sense? So that motivated me to watch even more. That makes sense? Because I know it worked. And I'm not looking at no God in no space. It's in me. All right, the next paragraph.
Returning home, we find a place where we can be quiet for an hour, carefully reviewing what we have done. We thank God from the bottom of our heart that we know Him better. Taking this book down from our shelf, we turn to the page which contains the 12 steps. Carefully reading the first 5 proposals, we ask if we have omitted anything. For we are building an arch through which we shall walk a free man at last. Is our work solid so far? Are the stones properly in place? Have we skimped on the cement put into the foundation? Have we tried to make mortar without sand?
All right. Now you have done all this work. You finished your 5th step. All right. You've been really doing a lot of writing. All right. And so now you got to go home and you want to get back in this quiet space, peaceful space. So it says, returning home, we find a place where we can be quiet for an hour. You want to go home now with your paperwork. Find a place, your bedroom or, somewhere where you're quiet. You don't want to be interrupted by the TV, buses going up and down the street, kids yelling, you know what I'm trying to say? Nagging significant others. You don't want none of that. You just want peace. Alright? For an hour. Carefully reviewing what we have done. Now I hear people say, I did it for 3 hours. They didn't ask you to do it for 3 hours. They said 1 hour. Alright? Carefully reviewing what we have done. Only thing we done is step 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alright? We thank God from the bottom of our heart that we know Him better. When I did this, I just thank God. I'm just so grateful. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to be clean and sober. I just went through that. It's like a prayer. Showing gratitude. Taking this book down from our shelf, we turn to the page which contains the 12 steps. We got the book down. We went back to page 59. And we looked at the first 5 proposals of step 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Read them, see if we understood it better, you know what I'm trying to say? Make sure there's that I understand it in detail. Remember, the 12-step program is really a program of knowledge, too. You have to have the knowledge in order to work the 12 steps. I know a lot of people want you to just give you a handout and say work the 12 steps, but there's no knowledge with it. This is a knowledge program. That makes sense? You have to have the knowledge. You cannot do this without the knowledge, the information. Alright, so you go back over, it says, carefully read the first 5 proposals. And we ask if we have omitted anything. Is it anything I have left out of my 12-step work thus far? For we are building an arch through which we shall walk a free man at last. We're building an arch, you know, the circular arch. We're building them with the 12 steps so we can pass through free. Alright? And we ask ourselves these questions. Is our work solid so far? Are the stones properly in place? We try to like build in mortar, you know, build it like building bricks. Have we skipped on the cement put into the foundation? Have we tried to make mortar without sand? If you don't know what they're talking about, don't kind of worry about it. Just ask yourself, have you done a thorough job? Do you feel satisfied with the work you have put into this? Do you think you took shortcuts, you know, or faked this or lied about that? Or do you need to put some more effort into it? This is a time for you to get honest with yourself, to make the commitment with yourself. Remember that addictions, to get past addictions, you must be committed to yourself. If you want to be clean and sober, you got to commit to yourself, to myself, that I'm clean and sober. It ain't got nothing to do with the rest of the people. I must commit to myself. Alright? The next one. Next paragraph.
We can answer to our satisfaction. We look at step 6. We have emphasized willingness as being indispensable. As we now ready to let God remove from us all things which we have admitted are objective. Can you now take them all, every one, still cling to something we will not let go? We ask God to help us if He will.
All right, here's the deal. If we can answer to our satisfaction, then we look at step 6. So if you can answer to your satisfaction that all my first 5 steps are good, now please, then it's time to move on to step 6. Now let me tell you something about step 6 and 7. I'm not teaching out of the 12 and 12. I'm teaching out of the Alcoholics Anonymous book. I know we got a lot more information about the step 6 and about step 7. But I'm teaching the AA book. I'm not teaching the 12 and 12. Alright? The 2-step, every step has instructions on how to do it. Except step 6 and step 7. There's no instructions. You just gotta fit in where you fit in. Alright, it's a paragraph on each one. I think I gave an example before. If you go down to Home Depot and you in the gardening section or something like that, and you go look at a lawnmower. When you open up the box in the lawnmower, there's going to be some instructions in there. Chainsaw, instructions. Alright. Them electrical blowers, instructions. Especially them weed things, instructions. When you go over to the section to pick up a pick or a shovel, there's no instructions. You just grab it and go to work. That's the same. The pick and the shovel is the tools that's similar to the 6 and 7 step. There's real no instruction in here how to do it. At first I didn't quite grasp that, but now I do as years come on. You know what I mean? Now I kind of understand what they're talking about. So it says step 6, we emphasize willingness. Now step 6 is, well, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Now here's the deal. I can't remove, Walker can't remove these defects of character, but the God in me can. That makes sense? The God in me can remove these defects of character. And I know what they are now because I done did an inventory of myself. I know my patterns. I know what's going on. Alright? So I know what my defects of character are. And you really want God to remove them because really you do all this work. You spend a lot of months and time on these inventories and you realize you have defects and you realize they're not gone. They're still here. Just because you don't did that work, maybe a couple of them gone, but the rest still here. So you have a great awareness of what the defects are, but you're not cured from the defect because they still here. So you have to ask for some help to have them removed because you did their work don't mean they gone. That makes sense?
That's right.
They still here. That means more work. So it says, we have emphasized willingness as being indispensable. That's a deep little sentence right there. Willingness, we're talking about in the dictionary, is mentally ready or prepared to do something. You got to be mentally ready or willing or prepared to go forward. That makes sense? Mentally. Alright? And it says, we emphasize willingness as being indispensable. Indispensable means absolutely necessary. I am 100% ready, absolutely necessary, ready and willing to have the defects removed. I mean, I'm prepared to allow it to happen. I don't want to do this half-but. I don't want to say, God, I really want you to take this, but I'm going to hold on to it a little longer. That's not indispensable. It's not absolutely necessary. All right? I see a lot of woos and wahs, but I understand. I understand. Because we love pain and being miserable. Yeah. That's why we did it for 30 years. It ain't going to go away just because I want it to go. I've been practicing this bad behavior for 30 years. Yeah. We are now ready to let God remove from us all the things that we have admitted are objectionable. That means unpleasant. So then we back with this pleasant thing. Step 5, we found some pleasure. Step 6, we unpleasantable. You know, we still got some stuff going on. We want this unpleasant stuff removed so we can continue to have this pleasant ease and peace. That makes sense? Be still and know that I'm God. A lot of this stuff is in your mind. It's in your mind. Alright? It says that can he now take them all, every one? That's with a question mark. If we cling to something we will not let go, we ask God to help us be willing. So, if it's something in my mind, or something in my behavior, or my physical behavior, or in my mind that I cannot let go, I even have to pray to God for the willingness to be able to let it go. So that's implying that I don't even have the willingness. I don't even know how to be prepared to let it go. I even got to pray to be prepared to let it go. God, you got to prepare me to let it go. I don't even know how to do that. The prayer has to take on a new level. It has to become more personal. I have to prepare, I have to pray for the willingness to even start the journey of letting it go. Alright? So, and that's basically step 6. Is you know you have these defects, and I'm not talking about defects, I'm talking about now defects. And we talking right now, including me, each and every last one of us have something in our life. It could be one thing or it could be 10. That's a thorn in your behind. I ain't gonna push down there. But in your behind, and it's affecting your recovery and your life. Each and every last one of us got this, and everybody on YouTube got it too. It's a thorn in you, and you know what it is. And every morning, you pray to let it go. And every afternoon, you done did it. That's saying, why don't we ask God for the willingness to help me to let it go? I'm not praying to let it go. God, I want to give it to you. I don't know how to let it go. Let me pray for some willingness to learn how to ask you to help me to let it go. And they use the word clinging. Clinging. Remember I explained that before. Clinging is to hold on to something. Now, you remember now that step 4, 5, 6, and 7 deal with your what? Your mind. Your mind. Melodrama. Clinging. If I don't know, it's so much that we cling to. You know what I mean? It's so many things that we just build up, keep adding on to it. It's like making a hill into a mountain. You can have I can have a little situation going on in the family. Something small. I think I heard 2 people talking about it there upstairs, but I didn't interfere with the conversation. I just walked by. But I knew what they were talking about. How you can allow one person to upset your day. But you don't know how to process it and let the upset person just be the upset person. That we take on that negative vibes. We take on that negativity, and then we start the process of clinging in our mind. And oh Lord. And we cling and we take the little Lego blocks and build up. Yeah. Keep building bigger and bigger and bigger in ourselves, and the nut who started it is gone. Happy, joyous, and free. And you clinging, got a thorn in your thing, it knocked you way off the balance of your spirituality. But you did not know how to let it go. It's negative energy. It gets so bad that you can feel it in your chest.
Yeah.
You can feel it around your heart. It becomes heavy. You can even taste it. It becomes cotton mouth. You can taste it. That's negativity that you allow someone else to give to you. So that means you gave that person dominance over you. Destroyed your day. It's really not the person. It's you. Something inside me allowed me to allow them to do that to me. So that means I got to work more on what? Him or me? Me. I got to do more work on me. Nothing happened by coincidence. So if it happened to you, now you understanding why it happened, then you've been blessed. Because 9 times out of 10, the one who started the crap ain't even in the damn meeting. It'll catch up to him. It'll catch up to him. We'll see him one day. Skin from the head to the toe. It always happens. So clinging is holding on, building this stuff in your mind. And then thoughts are things. Let's talk about that for a second. Thoughts are things. They're things. It's not that you just having a thought and it don't mean nothing. There is no such thing as a neutral thought. Every thought is going to be a cause and an effect. Now you can just let it ride. That'll keep peace in you if you just let it ride. I used to teach up here. How because we deal with the community, the population. We deal with a lot of people in the community on the phone, and they have complaints all the time. We can go to a pickup and it be the nastiest, dirtiest sofa you've seen. Cats done been on it, animals done been on it, it'd be horrible. Smell like cat urine. And we leave it. The customer, and these are trained guys, the customer called in here complaining about how good the sofa was. Y'all left my sofa is in perfect condition. I just got it 2 years ago. You didn't tell us you had 25 cats sleeping on it. You had a cat rescue form, you know. So they go through all that, and then they get angry. I'm gonna tell the Better Business Bureau. I'm gonna say, you know, I usually say, well, you know, we took a picture of it. That stopped most people. But the ideal is, what we used to do with that negativity is we came up with this thing about how we would put it in a little boat. You know how you go to like a little river or a pond? You seen the pond, and they got the little wooden dock and the little rowboat. We'll put that complaint right there into the rowboat. That's what I tell them. And kick the rowboat, push it, and let the current take it on downstream. We don't respond to them. We don't call them back. We don't apologize. We don't do anything. We let it float on down the river. They call back, it's floating. After about 1 or 2 days of that, it's gone out of the system. Nobody got pissed off. Nobody got upset. Just let it ride on out. Then that's why this pole is here. I forgot to tell y'all all that. This is our peace pole. You can get so angry, we should just come and hug the pole. That stops it from entering you. There's tools. We got tools to protect us from this stuff. But if you're not aware of it, you don't know that you can do that, you will be miserable all the time. You know? So step 6 is basically a prayer asking God to help me to become ready and willing to let go of these defects that I'm carrying around. I'm ready to have you take them, or I'm not ready to have you take them, but I'm willing to allow you to help me become ready to remove it. To me, that's a step that I never knew, or that's a miracle or a blessing that I never knew I had. I didn't know I could ask God to prepare me to become like you want me to be. I always thought I had to wake up and just do it. But suppose I didn't have the willingness or didn't know how to just do it. I can pray for the help to just do that. That makes sense? That's step 6. And so, since it doesn't have any instructions, we can do this anytime, in any situation, whenever possible. Don't need no tablet. Don't need no sponsor. It's just me and my Creator. You know, I go, certain places I go, I know they're going to be a little negative or something like that. I ask God, I know I'm going in here. And I need your help to keep my mind willing to go in here and not to allow this negativity to jump in me today. To keep me grounded, keep me at peace, keep me humble. And I usually put a time limit with it. No matter where it is, 1 hour. I go in, I only got about an hour before it starts acting up. Me and God know that, you know. So So I go in, I look at my clock, bam, I'm gone. But I get the whole experience in peace. And out, I'm gone. That's basically step 6. Now I know that there's more, and people always ask me why, but this is, I'm only teaching on the able. I think this is so important to learn from the basic that you are able to ask God. They said right there, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defensive characters. Now in your mind, the best thinker know that it's almost impossible to have God remove all of them defects. But it's not impossible. Because each one that show up can be removed. That makes sense? You know the boss called you in for a meeting for a reason. Now you can go in there lying, or you can become willing to do it the right way. In fact, you can practice this stuff so good, you can imagine the whole thing with your boss and have your boss saying what you want him to say. Go right in there. When he opened his mouth, you already knew what was coming out of it. That went off some people's head. But it's true. Alright, let's do the next one. That's step 6.
When ready, we say something like this. Creator, I am now willing that you should have all of me, good and bad. Pray that you now remove from me every single defective character which stands in the way of my usefulness to you and my fellows. Grant me strength as I go forth from here to do your bidding. Amen. We have then completed step 7.
Alright, this is the 7-step prayer. We call it the 7-step prayer. But it's a significance in this thing. It says, when ready, we say something like this. My Creator, I am now willing that you shall have all of me. He already got all of us anyway. Him and I are one. God is in me. Alright? So when he means all of me, good and bad, he's not really talking about Robert no more. You know what I'm trying to say? The ego. The part that I this and I that and I'm controlling this and I'm in charge of that, it's got to go. When God has you, you become more, the man part of me, I hope I can explain it to the best of my ability, is gone. I become less judgmental. I'm not what I used to be. I'm not a man that's a black man that came from this family, that went to this school and did this and married this and got this kind of education. All that can go. I'm just God, part of God. I don't have to be racist. You know what I'm saying? I can be at total peace. I don't have to worry about like doing a 12 step. I ain't gonna 12 step him because he fat. You know what? I hear this all the time. I ain't gonna do this one because he from this part of the hood. You lose all of that when you're with God. You don't have to be judgmental. You don't have to have all these attack thoughts. You know, you don't have to worry about, I don't want them people coming up here, they ghetto. All that's gone. All that ego stuff is gone. You at perfect peace and harmony and with the whole universe. It's just one big happy family. I ain't say be no fool, but you don't have to be judgmental. You don't have to do that with God. There's no fear. I don't have to worry about what I think other people are thinking about me. I don't have to walk around with low self-esteem. I don't have to worry about what color you are, what part of the neighborhood you came from, how much money you got. It don't matter. You ain't never gave me none anyway. You ain't never helped me. I ain't got to worry about what team you play on, who you got traded to. It ain't affecting me. I I'm the creator of my own world, my own destiny. I don't need no man to interfere with me to become what I need to be. That makes sense? I'm free. That's free now. So it says that I'm ready to say something like, my creator, I'm now willing that you should have all of me, good and bad. I'm striped like a zebra anyway. I got good and bad, it don't matter. I'm like your dress. I pray that you now remove from me every single defect of character which stands in the way of my usefulness to you and my fellow. When you become useful to somebody, you don't be judgmental no more. Grant me strength as I go from here to do your bidding. Amen. Then we have completed step 7. Now listen to this. Every single defect of character, after you've done this work, say from the step 3 said, make a decision and turn our will and our lives over the care of God as we understood them. So let's go back to page, what's that, 670, no, step 3 prayer is 63. On page 63. Said right here. Now, when we got page 63, this is what we said. We were now at step 3. This is the 3rd step prayer. Many of us said to our Maker, as we understood him, God, I offer myself to thee to build with me and to do with me as thou wilt. Free me or relieve me from the bondage of self that I might better do thy will. It says, take away my difficulty. I didn't know every single defect of character then. All I knew is I had difficulties. I haven't done no work. I haven't seen no pattern. I didn't know about my defects, every single defect of character. I didn't know I had some problems. That victory over them may bear witness to those I might help of thy power, thy love, and thy way of life. May I do thy will always. We thought well before taking this step, making sure we were ready, that we could at last abandon ourselves utterly to him. That's how we was at step 3. Then we get over here now to step 7. It says, I pray that you now remove from me every single defect of character which stands in the way of my usefulness to you and my fellow. I'm not having to do your will and help me to help you do this. You know what I'm saying? Help me. I got you in me now. I can do whatever you want me to do. Just take it out of me. Now I wrote down some defects of character that I had to work with. This is me. It ain't about using no more. You know, attack thoughts. That was a defect of me. I would attack people in my mind. You'll never know I'm doing it. That motherfucker right there. You know, look at him right here. Look at his shoes. You know what I'm saying? It's always attacking folks in the head. You laughing hard on that. We got all this attack thoughts going on. And what it does is it creates a attack world from the inside out. Everything I see, I'm spending my whole day attacking it. Attacking it. So I created this meaningless world of attacking folks. Meaningless thoughts create a meaningless world. So I'm attacking folks, and it makes no sense in the light of things because there's 7 billion people on earth. And you become a professional attacker, you have no peace whatsoever. Your mind is racing. Always talking about something, always doing something. There is no God in attack minds. There's another one, a defect of mind. Fear of lack.
Yeah.
Don't have enough.
Yeah.
Fear of lack. If in business, I used to say this all the time. You know, like I kind of, let me tell you, I built this world up about every so many months. Like, you know, around Christmas time, sales go down. And then they come up in the spring. Even when I'm talking to financial people, sales go up, and sales go down. And then when they go down, I'm in this lack of. Then you want to run around in fear or something like that. But who told me that my sales got to go down because it's seasonal? I did. I created that monster. Ain't no sales got to go down. I created this seasonal sale graph in my own imagination and believed it. So what happens when the seasons come? They do exactly like I wanted to do because I did that. So I had to ask God to remove that kind of character defect thinking that I could always, if I'm the son of God, I should always be in abundance. It don't make sense to be in a, this is me now, in a lack of thinking. Why am I begging and my father got everything? You think Prince Charles' son gonna be a beggar? That makes no sense. If you royalty, you royalty. If you not, you not. That's my defect. That makes sense? So I got to learn to stop doing that. Clinging and building. That's everybody's. You get a little situation, you start adding the Legos on it and build it up, and it's false. It's wrong. These cell phones and all that done really made clinging bad. They don't answer the phone.
Oh, yeah.
You go to clinging. I know he's doing this and she's doing that. And nobody got it on the phone and like eating a Lay's potato chip. You can't eat one. You can't dial one time. You can't dial, I know. You can't dial one time. You dial that number one time and they don't answer. It goes straight to voicemail. You go back again and again and again and again, and you clinging and clinging and clinging and clinging till you don't build this entire structure up an illusion. But you really don't know. You really don't know if it's real or false. But you don't build it up. And then they finally pick up the phone and said, my son had the phone and he was playing a game on it. And it went dead and I plugged it up. Now all that misery that you had put in there is instantly gone. And you got peace and serenity. And the clinging was false. It was an illusion, a false illusion. You made it up in your own mind. The point being is that you gave that clinging permission and power to control you for 2-3 hours. You're supposed to be at work. You're supposed to be reading, supposed to be studying, supposed to be doing anything, getting ready for exam, and you steady clinging, building up something. That's insanity. Now suppose we do that all the time, but we are not. Now y'all aware of it. But suppose we was not aware of it, that we were doing that. If you put all this stuff together, I don't see how we could even make an attempt to live without the 12 steps. These little words mean something. If you don't even look up one word, that one word can be a big chunk of your life.
Right.
By not even looking up the word, you have no clue what they're talking about. That clinging is some serious stuff. You can go read books on it. Go on the internet and read about it. You can now go tell your psychiatrist, I ain't got to come in here, I just been clinging. I learned not to do this. You give me some money back. All I'm saying is that these steps work. That by the time you get to step 7, you have a better idea of what kind of work you got to go forward to do, because it's not over now, than what you had at step 3. Next week we do 8 and 9. They go together. I want to thank y'all for the meeting.